Randy, are we good? Microphones on and cell phones silenced, please. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Tonight is Wednesday, April 15th, tax day. Whew, got till midnight. 2026. It's 5:30 p.m. and this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Marquette Township Board. And we're going to start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please, Randy.
All right, this evening, Trustee Kidda and Trustee Winslow are absent and excused. Trustee Leighton. Here. Trustee Everson. Here. Treasurer Rickower.
Here.
Clerk Rattari is here, and Supervisor Durant.
Here.
Staff present is Manager Kangas, our attorney Roger Zappa. On Zoom or teleconference, we have Superintendent of Public Works Lenny Bodinas and our Planning Zoning Administrator Jason McCarthy. And our committee member, Paul Marin from Library, is here this evening as well.
And Linda, if you want to announce.
Well, Linda's on Zoom, but she can.
Just as a resident.
She can. She can't really participate in the meeting.
She can speak, though, if you want.
She can speak, but she can't vote.
During public comment, Linda, that's that time, if there's anything you want to say. You're good? Okay, thank you. And we don't have an audience tonight, so that's good, I guess. And we need approval tonight of the consent agenda, which consists of approval of regular meeting minutes of April 1st, 2026, bills payable in the amount of $198,025.55, draft minutes of the Township Election Commission of 4/1/26, the Sheriff's Department activity report from March of this year, and correspondence I put in is the Solid Waste Management Authority packet for today. I did not get to that meeting because I had a different one at 4 o'clock. And I did add their annual report. I thought the statistics would be pretty interesting for the public to see too as we get more wrapped up in this composting and recycling. And then the close-up report was kind of interesting too, with resident recruitment and how that's a challenge in some neighborhoods.
I move that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Then I guess, hang on, are we going to take this item off then? Okay, we'll leave it on, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll also move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Mr. Marin, you're here with our library report.
I have to come every once in a while to be reminded about how good-looking and handsome all of you are. Anyway, I attended the TAC meeting on April 8th of this year. And Andrea always starts by giving us the budget report, and things are going along all right at the library, except of course she was moaning over what we are all moaning about, and that is snow removal was already $4,000 over budget. Half of the library parking lot was a huge snow pile. It would cost $8,000 to remove that huge snow pile. So the library board said, let it melt, because we can't go more over budget already than we are on this. There's also a discussion about the penal fines. I think you all know we get some of the penal fines that are levied. Libraries are all over, I guess, are bemoaning the fact that more of those fines are being allocated to administrative costs, probably connected with the court, than go to the library. So, the library's always been in favor of getting a weigh station in this county, it would really bring in a lot of revenue. Anyway, the cannabis vape collection is going on at the library. There had been regular vape collection at Kenny's Market, but nobody was collecting the cannabis vapes. So now Citizens for Safe and Clean Lake Superior are actually doing all the taping of the vapes, but the library is the drop-off site for them. It's been, they've had a lot more than they thought they would have. They're hoping to get summer interns again this year. Last year, one of the summer interns did the Feeding America program, which of course is a worthwhile endeavor, so maybe this summer we'll have an intern that can help with that again. Then it ended on a note where Andrea was talking about having to get a trespass order, which is not an unusual thing at the library. There are people, homeless people who come there, and they often they're drunk or high and, causing some problems. But this was a unique one. She was in the library, and there was some snowboarder going down the railing in front of the library. And she went out and she said, "Please, you have to stop. You can't do this." He did another one. And she said, "Our liability insurance will not allow this." So she ended up calling Marquette City Police, and they came over and gave this wanton snowboarder a trespass order. So that's some of the exciting things that have been happening at the library. And now I don't know if you get a report again soon. I know Grace did the last one, and she'll probably do the next one, but there is no library board meeting in the month of May.
Okay.
So it may be a while before you see one of us here again. Thank you as always for your attention. Oh, one last thing. The library is quite excited about the idea of coming to the Shenwood Park for the summer program. They're gonna put something together and make an appearance at our summer fun days.
Oh,
Yeah.
Community Day.
Community
Sure,
Community Day,
in
yeah.
August. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
And Paula, I gotta get with Roger, we have to get the library millage put together but I have until July to get it on the ballot, so we'll get it sometime in the near future.
Okay,
So it's on the ballot for November then.
good, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Fire Department, we don't have that report, but it is in the...
There's a written one, I
Yep,
think, in the packet.
It is in the
yeah.
packet. I didn't see anything that was too unusual. Okay, Public Works, we do have Lenny, okay.
Boy, this is a quick one.
I guess, woke you up,
Yeah,
huh?
it did. I will start with wastewater. Again, we just continue to do routine grinder pump repairs and replacements. That's just an ongoing feature of our job. We're probably doing about 1 to 2 a week here, so it's just something that's ongoing that we're always out there doing. And especially now, we've been trying to keep an eye on everything with the snow melt, with excess water getting in them. We did have, I think, one that potentially they thought was getting a lot of water in it, but that's a big thing that we try to let residents know is don't pump your sub pumps into the wastewater, your sewer pipe, because it can overload those pumps pretty easy, and it's against Michigan law. We don't want to overload the sewer systems and eventually the wastewater plant. We've also we've repaired several manholes that were struck by snowplows over the winter time. So we've been riding around looking at that as the snow is starting to melt. We're starting to see where some castings got hit and where they got pushed over. Also some valve cover boxes. That's kind of a routine thing in the spring that happens. It's just part of the business that we have to go through and repair them. We'll go through and we'll reset them, and then we'll repack them with coal patch and stuff around manhole castings themselves. We also were able to utilize our new sewer camera. We had a local business that had a plug in their sewer, and they thought actually it was our problem. And we were able to get our camera down there, and we determined that the main was clean, and we were actually able to get into their service line, and we located the plug for them. So that actually was pretty neat. It was a good learning experience for us. We were able to kind of use it in different configurations and actually find a problem, which was really neat. On the water side, we've continued working on our water and wastewater specifications. So a lot of these specifications were last updated like in the 1990s. So I've been working on that.
I have to be at, okay? Go lay down.
We've been working on that, and I've also Manager Kangas I've been kind of giving those to him just to kind of double check everything. It's always good to have multiple people with water and wastewater experience, and especially public works experience, looking at these things just in case one or the other misses something. So I've been updating those as time allows. We're almost done with it, and hopefully we'll be able to put those out, and especially for when permits and stuff come up. Permit applications for repairs to the Cox tank and the Chapel Ridge tank were submitted. This is going to be basically for minor repairs that we have to do to the tank and a new vent on top of Cox. So I got those permits in, and hopefully those will be going out to bids fairly soon. So basically, we have to put new gaskets in, new grates, and also on the Cox tank, we have to put a whole new vent on top of the tank. That was actually required by Eagle. It's a type of vent. I think what it's kind of like, they call it a pressure vent or a positive pressure vent. It's got to do with if water draws down and doesn't suck. I think it doesn't suck a bunch of stuff into it. But that will be out for bids hopefully in the next few weeks here, and we'll work on that. That's probably not going to be anticipated to be done until later on this summer, because some painting does have to be done, and we need to have actual warm weather, which we don't seem to get very much around here. So hopefully we're thinking about August or July or August on that. Also, our staff was heavily engaged in response activities due to the earlier in the month in the snowstorms. So they were out a lot, keeping everything open. They kept all our facilities open. They keep the office open. They kept our well house open. So they really put in a lot of time and a lot of effort into that. So when a lot of other people were staying at home or stranded in their house, our guys and gals were out there plowing in the snowstorm and keeping everything. So if we had to get out or the emergency vehicles had to get out, we kept everything open. The new water and wastewater meter billing system is also updated. So we pretty much went through a whole retrofit on the meter billing system, and that will be able to interface with our BSNA software. So it's going to help with a lot of tasks, make everything faster, make everything more accurate, and we'll be able to kind of see stuff faster, data faster, so we can see what's going on and see if we have any problems. Our building and ground staff, they've been keeping up on their routine maintenance and cleaning activities around the township. So that's something that they do every day, cleaning everything, making sure everything looks clean for the public and for the workers too. They were also heavily involved in snow removal operations. So basically we had all hands on deck there with some of those blizzards. So everybody was out and moving around and keeping things open. And finally, our first Wednesday brush drop-off started, or not brush, I'm sorry, first Wednesday, I got brush on there, but first Wednesday rubbish drop-off, it should be, started in April. So this will be going through fall. So that, again, this will be the first Wednesday of every month. And that, we didn't really have a lot of people come, maybe only about 11 or 12 customers come there, but we're anticipating that May and June will be very heavy months. And that's all I have.
And that's what, noon to 6? That Wednesday?
Yes.
Noon to 6?
Yep.
Okay. Any questions for Lenny? Have you ended up with a lot of overtime with the snow? I've heard 2 conversations this week about that already. Well, and even the library.
We've had some overtime. Some of them take comp. There's a lot of them that take comp. They'd rather have their time. So it won't be really a financial hit, but there'll be more of a time. But it's been kind of a combination between both. But it was definitely, everybody came out and participated. So I'm very thankful for that they were all out and working hard on that. So they work as a very good team, especially when things have to get done.
That's great. Thanks for that. Okay, I guess we're good. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Mr. Jason, you're up.
Good evening. Sorry for interrupting there. I was telling my dogs to lay down. The Planning Commission will meet on the 22nd, and there'll be a public hearing for a proposed trade shop carpentry land use at 875 Brookton Road. So that's the building across the street from the former Township Hall. Mount Manufacturing is currently redoing and getting ready to move into the former Best Buy Ride North building. And so Cherry Creek Construction is proposing to take over 875 Brookton Road. And because there's existing residential land use there, the use is permitted, but because it's adjacent to residential land use, there'll be a public hearing. The Recreation Committee is scheduled to meet next Tuesday, 21st, and we anticipate on the agenda Lions Field pickleball issues and opportunities, the master plan update with regard to recreation goals and objectives, And I'm also adding in there the Schwimmwood Park interpretive and trailhead near the tunnel kiosk content. So time to update those and get some updated maps and perhaps some information on the flora and fauna found in that particular area of the park there. The Planning Commission nominated Denny Ferraro to serve as the Planning Commission liaison to the Recreation Committee, and Mr. Ferraro has accepted that nomination, so this is just FYI for the Township Board. He may take action as needed for that appointment. And then lastly, on Recreation, in order to maintain certification with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources grant opportunities, staff will be endeavoring on updating the recreation plan. So lots of good stuff in the master plan, community survey and whatnot to help us shape that new recreation plan update. So keep your eyes out for upcoming meetings and work input sessions and whatnot regarding that throughout the year. We're hoping to have that wrapped up and certified by the DNR in February of 27. We have distributed, thanks to your action at last month's meeting, we've distributed a draft master plan update for the required 63-day review period. That review period ends on May 22nd, and we anticipate that the Planning Commission will hold a public hearing sometime there shortly after for potential adoption of the plan, pending any additional review comments. So we did receive some comments from the supervisor. We received some comments from the Marquette County Planning Commission, and we'll get those to the Planning Commission next week so that they're aware of them in case there's any, I guess, major changes that we want to make. Planner Powers continues to administer business licenses for 26, and we've also responded to just general inquiries throughout the time period since I last updated you. And then one thing I left off here, but I wanted you to be aware of, is that Heritage Trails did submit and staff did review a draft PUD agreement, and that has been sent to legal counsel for review. So it's starting to ramp up, but that's all I have for this update, pending any questions that you may have for me.
Anything on the mall that you can share that you know of?
Yeah, there's been some inquiries about trying to purchase the remaining portion of it or what's left of the Westwood Mall. So far, it's just been gathering information. So Superintendent Bodanis has provided some information. Our department's provided some information to a couple of developers, but that's as far as we know at this time.
Okay. Any questions for Jason? Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. Have a good meeting.
You too. Okay, so I didn't have to read that. That's good. Attorney report.
Well, a few of the things that crossed my desk in the last month included, I reviewed the Civic Plus Audio Eye contract that was on the agenda, I think, at the last meeting maybe. There were a few questions regarding preferred practices for personnel file retention. And the fire department had some questions on inspection of a damaged residence and garage that we weren't sure where that was headed in terms of access in order to inspect the premises. We had a brief question regarding a matter affecting the assessor's contract, and I am in the process of reviewing the Renovari Wildflower Land Unit Development Agreement that's on my desk. I was looking at that today, in fact. So we should have some conclusions on that in the next day or so. And I'm probably overlooking something or another, but those were some of the items that crossed my mind as I was jotting some notes down for this.
Okay, any questions for Roger? All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate that. community linkage. Oh, too many meetings, but I'll be brief. There were 2 county meetings since we met last, and they've been pretty active. On April 7th, they signed an agreement with Dickinson County for the medical examiner. You might remember, it was probably last year now, time's going too fast, that there were some issues with the examiner we had at the time, who was not providing information to the families on a timely basis, and they were waiting and waiting. So anyway, that contract's done, and they're connected with Dickinson County now. Amy Stevens gave a master plan update. They're also in the process, the county's also in the process of doing their master plan. And if you're interested, you can go to, gosh, I thought I brought it with me. I guess I didn't. Marquette Township is in the Borealis region. They named the 5 areas of the county, and we're called the Borealis region. And there's going to be a meet and greet type thing to discuss the master plan on Thursday, May 7th at 6 p.m. at the Barrel and Beam, if you'd like to go. They have an open bar, or not an open bar, pardon me, a cash bar. Don't pass that out. Cash bar, but they have some treats, I think, and snacks. And they're just looking for input on what everybody thinks the plan should look like, what should be added or subtracted. And I did mention last time that Fred Benzie was our newly appointed commissioner for Marquette Township. He lives in South Marquette, and he has part of that small area in the city that he has to cover. He has not been at the commission meetings yet. He had the month of April off for vacation prior to his appointment. And I'm kind of wondering if you want him to come and introduce himself, or should we just not worry? His appointment's through, I think, the end of the year. If he wants to run, or anybody else wants to run for that seat representing the township in that corner of the city, they can go on the ballot and actually run. So whether he'll run or not, so he might be a short-time person, I don't know. Or there could be other people that'll also be on the ballot. But think about that. And then at their second meeting yesterday, the woman, and I didn't write her name down, gave the veterans report, which I thought was kind of interesting, an update from that department in the county. There are 4,800 veterans in the county, and they have 1,500 open cases right now. So if you know, she told the audience, if you know someone who needs help of any kind, it doesn't matter if it's financial or medical or emotional, if they're struggling, just have them get a hold of the county, because that's what they're there for. You know, they're willing to help and able to help, and they'll give them whatever resources that they can share. The county also passed a resolution. We were kind of talking about that. I handed it out just so you'd have a record of it. It's been talked about for months at almost all of probably all this year. The whole ICE issue has been talked about at every single meeting. One night, I think there were 24 people that got up and spoke. It's been a little bit less, 3 or 4 this night. But anyway, they had asked for a resolution. Commissioner Newman put one together and read it, and everybody in the audience liked it for the next couple meetings. They were waiting for it. They put it on the agenda, and there was a half-hour discussion among the board members on what to do with it, whether to have it or not. It did pass 3-2. If Fred had been there, I guess it might have been 4-2 or 3-3. It's hard to say. So that is a resolution. It's not a law or anything. It just says that the county resolves these things. Also went to the Michigan Recycling Coalition meeting at Northern. It was a next cycle workshop. They called this part of their department the next cycle. And it was all recycling, composting. We had 4 people come up and speak, one of whom was Phil from our Partridge Creek composting here in Ishpeming Township. He got up and talked about what we're all trying to work on together and the consortium and stuff. We also had Manistee Paper Company talk about the grocery bags and the paper that goes into your blue recycling bucket that everybody's using, of course. Any of those paper bags, newspapers, and everything that goes in there get pulled out, and they go to Manistee, and they make the grocery bags for the fast food restaurants. So that stuff is happening. I don't know how many times people have said to me, it's all going in the landfill, and it's not, because these companies need that material to sustain their businesses. So it is being used, as long as everybody's putting their stuff in their green buckets, or blue buckets, pardon me. They wanted to make sure to tell everybody not to put batteries in your trash or recycling. It's causing problems. It can cause fires. They need to be repurposed or recycled separately. And I at one point had given you a list of all the stores and Goodwill, and I forget, I can get that, probably I should put that out again. But please, they kept saying, please don't put your batteries in the trash or recycling. Manistee paper, okay. Oh, they also use the gift wrap to, with the grocery bags and all the other papers. So make sure you put your gift wrap in there too at Christmas time or birthdays. There's another company there that's keeping, recycling mine tailings, which is really important in this area. They're also pulling out nickel and cobalt. So those items are being reused, which is good. And 906's report on the recycling side said that they're recycling 7,000 tons of recycling a year. So multiply that times 2,000 for a ton. That's a lot of recycling. And yet we're still only at 10% in the county average. So we need to do better. The safety forum, that this will be the 4th or 5th annual, I forget now, it's going too fast. Thursday, April 23rd, so it's a week from Thursday. Yeah, that'd be right. At 6 p.m., right here in the community room, we'll have the fire department, we'll have Upset, and we have the sheriff coming to do little presentations. They'll answer questions. I'll make some coffee. We'll bring in some cookies or donuts or something. The information they share is invaluable. Anybody wants to ask about the free smoke detectors, maybe they'll have some on hand, but you can set up an appointment to do that. It's a great presentation. It's only like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, depending on how many questions we have, but it's good information for the public, and they're very happy to do it. The Upset information is pretty interesting from the Upper Peninsula Substance Enforcement Team. And the LSCP dinner, the partnership dinner for Ann Giroux, is going to be tomorrow night, and they've announced, if you probably saw it in the paper and on the news, Natalie Chmiko is going to be the new director of the LSCP. So at some point, she'll be here to introduce herself, and we can welcome her. And our materials management 6-person group is meeting tomorrow, so we're gonna see what else we can do with recycling. That's a lot. I've had a lot of meetings lately. Anything you're hearing from the public? Anything you're involved in?
Just Commerce Drive.
Just what?
About a pothole somewhere.
Yeah. Maybe you can ask the manager if he knows anything for his part of the report.
I just call them speed reducing holes.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not bad either. Okay, do you want to talk about 8A?
Sure. There's no decision to make tonight, but I wanted to let you know. Well, we put it in the packet or on the agenda this meeting in the event we had enough information to make a recommendation tonight. That did not happen, so it will be back on the agenda for a final decision the first meeting in May. We're just waiting on a couple more numbers. We have some interest rates to compare, and make a recommendation. I will say there's been some research done behind the scenes with Treasurer Rickauer, Kim, the finance director. We've done our internal due diligence to determine if an internal loan can be done, and the answer is yes. It's just a matter of if that's the right solution or not, based on what the market's telling us. So we'll have more information for you at the next meeting, along with a recommendation, and I anticipate to have at least the second bid sometime next week. It would have happened tomorrow, but I will not be here for Thursday, Friday, Monday. So we'll get that ready. We have 3 weeks before the next meeting, so we'll have it ready then. And that's really all I have on that item for now.
Any questions for John? Okay. We don't have any public, so we have to skip over that one. Any announcements to share with anybody?
I have a few, as usual. From the election, we had the public accuracy test today, and the election commission was here, along with a couple election inspectors, and it went well, and we passed. So we're all set for the election with the machines. If you want to register to vote for May election, you can do it online or by mail up to April 21st. After that, you have to come into the clerk's office and register, because you get cut off 14 days before the election. So you can still register to vote. You just have to come in to the office to do it with the proper identification.
Which is what? Do they need a?
A driver's license and proof of residency
Okay.
as of now. So May 2nd, the clerk's office or the township hall will be open from 8 to 4 for any absentee ballot issuance or receiving ballots or register to vote. So May 2nd, which is a Saturday, will be open 8 to 4. And May 5th, Tuesday, is election day. So that's, the polls will open at 7 and be closing at 8. As of yesterday, we had about 300 absentee ballots back out of almost 1,000. So 30% back for a school election is actually really good. So, and I assume we got still half a month to go. So hopefully we can get beyond 50% for that. So that would be really good for a school election, because usually those are very poor turnout elections. So that's all I have. If anyone's got any questions, I'll take them right now.
Did you say 900 was the total?
983 as of yesterday, what we sent out. We have almost 300 back, so that's really good.
Yeah.
In my world, that for a school election in May, that's really good.
Okay.
There was elections in the past where you're lucky if you had 100 people come in the door. So I think with the ease of the absentee, with the permanent ballots going out and such, I think that encourages a lot of more folks to vote. So
Yep. Any questions on that? Okay. Mr. Manager.
Well, since you met last, I've been dealing mostly with the repercussions of the decisions you made when you met last. But that's all been good. We've been working on job descriptions, job posting or advertisements for the EMTB part-time employees. None of that has gone out to the public yet, but we hopefully we'll get a lot of it out next week. We know we have a contract revision to put together for Dulcie. Sooner we get that done, the better, because she's willing to take a pay cut. Hey, she volunteered it, and kudos to her. She saw an opportunity to help get some things done in a different way, and by her making it affordable for the township. It allows us some flexibility we didn't have before, so that's good. Lynn, myself, and Kim attended a meeting at 4 o'clock this afternoon. What you have in front of you, this document that has PFM up in the corner, that is the proposed payment schedule for the Build UP bonds for Heritage Trails. And if anyone's been out and about, you'll notice that they are clearing that site as we speak. They started this week. Where there had been standing trees, there's now piles of trees and brush, and they have permission to clear and grub the site. The remaining status, we don't have final engineering approved yet on the water, wastewater, or stormwater. The stormwater is Badger Creek drain, so that will be Marquette County Drain Commissioner standards, but it'll follow the same review process as if it were our own stormwater ordinance. We expect to see those final drawings probably tomorrow. There were a couple of minor revisions from the last submittal that needed to be made. And then hopefully we'll get the permit applications in ASAP, because that's normally a 1-month process. This payment schedule, I've also shared it with legal counsel. That's going to help him complete a portion of the PUD agreement review, and help us determine whether or not the developer's commitment to repaying those bonds ends up in its own document, or if it can be accommodated in the existing document. It's in there. It's more a matter of if that's the right place for it to be. And then really between this and that agreement, that's what Build UP is waiting on to make their final decisions on the next step, if they're going to have funds to commit. And then by, June, the first meeting in June, the bonds could close if the board authorizes this process to go that far. What this shows, I think it's important for you to know, the first 2 years of bond payments are interest only. And the reason for that is the intent is to repay these bonds with TIF revenue. And in those first 2 years, when there's no buildings completed or whatever, the revenue is basically the value of the vacant land, which taxable value is half of what they purchased at $250,000. This does demonstrate that if the project goes per plan, the TIF can fund every payment until the bond is paid off. In the agreement that legal counsel is reviewing, their intention is to place the first year's payment in escrow up front, which is the interest-only payment of $7,000. That way, it's guaranteed that that payment gets made without us dipping into our own funds. After that, the tax collection is more than likely going to be there. Can't say with 100% certainty. I mean, the project could fail after half the homes are built. We don't know. But the aggressive schedule that's being proposed by Mitch in particular is to have all of these units built by the end of 2027. So the moment it's complete, the full assessment goes on the next tax bill, if I have that correct from a schedule perspective. It doesn't go on as a completed project until it's got a certificate of occupancy, I believe. So Dulcie would tell you if I'm accurate on that or not, but wanted you to be aware that the cash flow is demonstrated by the TIF in this document. I think that's probably what the biggest concern is. And the tax revenues would be collected before they need to be paid, according to this schedule. So this schedule has to go to Build UP for them to review, see if it meets their expectations or if it's something they can live with. And then the back and forth on that will determine if this can be successful, and we'll come back to you sometime in the next couple of meetings seeking authorization to take that next step. I know the biggest concern with everyone should be making sure the taxpayers don't end up footing the bill for this, right? I don't anticipate that being the case, but we have no idea what the crystal ball truly says.
Any questions for John? Dan?
I just have one. When you say they're clearing and grubbing, does that mean they're chipping everything, or what does it exactly mean?
They're cutting the trees down and all of the underbrush gets grubbed out. They're really just scooping it up with excavator buckets, that kind of thing, and putting it in piles,
And then
they have to get rid of it all.
through chipping it or through burning it?
I'm not exactly sure. That's up to the contractor. That's a means and methods thing we wouldn't get into.
Well, there's some pretty nice trees there. You just hate to see them get all just grubbed up, I guess. But
Yeah, there's some full logs in some of those piles, so I would imagine somebody's gonna come in with a logging truck and haul those away to whatever market is most suitable.
okay. Not anything we can do, but I'm just curious.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we gave up that right when we sold the property, right?
Yes, yes. I'm okay with that.
I say we, I didn't have any control of it other than a recommendation.
We collectively. Roads, do you want to talk about roads at all?
Whew.
Give them an update?
Somebody said potholes. That's a scary subject to approach right now.
Yeah.
The DDA met yesterday, and part of what we talked about was progress on any projects in the DDA, including heritage trails, the fact that they're clearing and grubbing. We talked about the car wash site that actually has been getting some mass grading done on it. It's a pretty small site, but they're chomping at the bit to get their car wash built so they can start selling memberships for car washes, and that's great. But they also talked about roads, and it was a good, hearty discussion. I would say the DDA almost went so far as to maybe commit more funds to a temporary solution than might be a good idea. But in the end, agreed to let or authorize me to reach out to the road commission and find out what it would cost to do at least some temporary, what Alex called them is a scratch coat. I call it lane wedging, or it's a temporary hot mix repair. Long enough to get the road properly reconstructed in 2026. It won't address the entire length of the road. It will address the worst spots that aren't getting done with Section 19 funds. The Section 19 funds cover the bad spot just to the south of the Venture Moran intersection here, kind of in that swampy low area. There's another real bad spot down by the new daycare, which is halfway between here and Werner. I think that's probably the best candidate where we might be able to do I don't know if it's 10,000, 25,000. They're supposed to get back to me some sort of temporary hot mix patching in that area. And it might even be a full lane, but it's just overlaying it when the hot mix, or when the paving contractor, Baco in this case, is here, having them order a few more loads and just spreading it on those worst spots, compacting it so that it doesn't have to be cold patched every 2 weeks or every time it rains or whatever. That might get us through one more winter.
Are the mining trucks using a different route?
They have not been coming through here.
I haven't seen them.
Not in over a year. They didn't come through here last summer either.
Where are they going?
Well, some of it was being hauled by rail, but I believe, I guess we should keep this straight since we're on the public record. Mining trucks, there's trucks coming from Eagle Mine that have always gone all the way up to the Walmart Target roundabout. Those ones were never coming down Commerce. The trucks that we're talking about were coming from Presque Isle, hauling material to Tilden for their coke process. It's crushed limestone or coal or both. So they were coming this way in 2024, and we had trucks going by all day long. Last year, they changed it where they were staying on County Road 492, previously known as HQ, the redirect that brought Wright Street up to the roundabout. And then from there, I'm assuming they were going up to M35 the way they always used to. Occasionally, we'll see a Van Dam truck come through, but it's not associated with either of those projects, to my knowledge. Usually, if we see them coming through here, it's because they had to go back to the shop for repairs or whatever. Or it's a completely separate project.
Would they be a source of any type of revenue to, no?
They're doing what they're legally allowed to do. It's a county primary road. It's open to truck traffic. They're bringing their product from port to the ultimate market by contract.
Just a clarification, I think you said the full reconstruct in 26, but that's 27.
2027, next year. So even if their fiscal year begins on October 1, it will not be this calendar year. It will be next calendar year. And the reason for that is they don't even have their field survey work done yet. And we're talking about adding non-motorized facilities from this intersection as far north as it is, as far north as it makes sense. Going all the way down to 492, we don't know if that last piece beyond the entrance to Cedarville makes sense or not. So all that has to be determined yet. And then put to estimates and then figure out how to pay for it. I mean, the road commission's got to come up with the money in their budget for next year to do the road. And they'll be looking to the township for the non-motorized portion, and I think the DDA is committing up to what's remaining of their 2025 and what will be all of their 2026 revenue. So that's about 200,000. Will that accomplish all of it? I would guess not.
What else? Any other steaming interests you have? Okay, thank you for that. Can we review our motions, please?
Yep, the first motion was a consent agenda as presented. That was approved. And the second motion was the approval of the regular agenda as presented. That was approved.
Okay, tough night, eh? So we should have probably Bob Hendrickson here from the Heritage Trail Authority for our next meeting, which is in 3 weeks, May 6th. And I believe maybe the Story Walk from Schwemmwood. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget.
Pretty sure it was the second meeting in June.
Second, yeah, because the Heritage Trail was the first one. Okay, that's why I put it in there so I wouldn't make a mistake. And then the ladder truck funding so far.
And you'll start seeing some additional documents regarding heritage trails. Bonds, development agreement, those kind of things.
Okay. Anything else you want to share? Comments, questions?
Linda got any comments? Nope.
Nothing? Okay, fine. Gosh, this is cool.
I have one final motion.
Okay.
I'll support that.
That we adjourn. Look at it.
6:18, yes. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. It's 6:18.